Hello my friends of P1. I assume you are well, because I know God is still there protecting you and protecting us. We are here, we are waiting for you, and I know very soon we shall open up like our brothers and sisters of P7 went back to school. Those of Senior 4, Senior 6, they are all back in school. So very soon we shall also be back in school, right? Okay, back to my lesson of mathematics. Last time I came, I introduced fractions. And do you still remember what a fraction is? I told you that a fraction is a part of a whole. And a whole is a full thing. Can be a full paper, can be a full book, can be a full mango, a full banana, a full piece of bread. Okay? So, a whole means one full thing. But once you cut it into different parts, you have already made fractions. Last time I came here, I made very many fractions. I made like 3 of them. I made a half, I made a third, and a quarter, okay? You still remember those fractions? A half, a third, a quarter. And remember I told you when you make those fractions, you can make very many of them. You can make 2/3, 2/4, 3/4. So all those are fractions. Even if that fraction, even if the parts are out of 100, still you can make a fraction. You can make even 1 out of 100. It's there. 2 out of 10. 5 out of 7. All those are fractions. We have very many fractions. You can't even finish them. All right? So today I've come, we are going to learn something else. This time we are going to draw pictures. We are going to draw pictures. We are going to shade different fractions. Today we are going to shade different, we are not going to shade. We are going to name different fractions. Out of those ones the teacher have shaded on the pictures, all right? Now, look at this one. My instruction says, name the shaded fraction. Name the shaded fraction. My first picture is of a tomato. Can be a tomato or an orange. Okay? And I'm going to shade I have finished shading. Now tell me, which fraction have I shaded? If you know that fraction, tell me, tell your friend there, which fraction have I shaded? I have shaded a full orange. So if I have shaded a full orange, I have shaded a whole. What have I shaded? I have shaded a whole. If I want to write a whole in figures, I write 1 because it's 1 orange. Okay? This very orange, I will get another one. I can get another orange. Okay, this time let me use an apple. I have an apple. And I have cut it. I've cut it. How many pieces have I made? I have formed 2 pieces. And this apple is mine. So I'm going to eat 1 piece and I keep 1 piece for the evening. So I am going to eat that piece, that one, that part. How many parts did I cut my apple into? I cut it into 2 parts. And how many parts am I going to eat? I'm going to eat 1 part. That one I've shaded. So which fraction have I shaded? I have shaded 1 part, remember, out of the 2. So which fraction is that? It is a half. But if I want to write a half in figures, I will write my 1 part up. 1 part out of, this one means out of. If you don't put it, then it will not be a fraction. So I have shaded 1 part out of the 2 parts. Okay? If you write a half like this, that one is wrong. This is number 1, that is number 2. It's not a fraction. A fraction must have a bar between, right? So this one is wrong. Let me even remove it. I have shaded a whole, a half. I'm going to make another picture. I'm going to give you another. This time, it's a piece of paper. And I'm cutting it into how many pieces? Those ones. How many pieces are those? 3 pieces. 3 pieces. And I'm going to shade. How many parts have I shaded? I have shaded only 1 part. I had 1, 2, 3, and I shaded only 1. So if it's one part that I shaded out of the 3 parts, which fraction is that? It's called a third. It is called a third. Okay? I'm going to make another fraction and I shade. This time it's my samosa. Have a samosa there. I'm going to cut it into, how many pieces have I cut? There are 3 pieces. I have 1, 2, 3. Now I'm shading these ones. How many parts have I shaded? Have I shaded 1 part still? Have I shaded 1 part? No, count the parts that I've shaded. 1, 2. So I have shaded 2 parts. Out of how many? Out of 2? No, out of 1, 2, 3 parts. So I have only shaded 1, 2 parts out of the 3 parts. And in words, I told you, how do we call this? We call them 2 thirds. 2 thirds. Okay? I still have very many more fractions. I have this one now. How do you think this one is? A biscuit. My biscuit, I'm going to divide it into equal parts. How many are they? 4. Let me shade. How many parts have I shaded? Just count very fast. Only 1 part. I have shaded 1 part. Out of how many? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4. Which fraction have I shaded? I have shaded 1 out of 4. And I call it a quarter. I told you, a refers to 1. A quarter. But if I shade like these ones, how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm shading those ones. I have decided to shade those ones. How many parts have I shaded? Count them with me. 1, 2. So I have shaded 2 parts. Out of how many? How many are they all together? How many parts have I made? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have shaded 2 parts out of the 4 parts. Which fraction is that? I have 2 and quarter. So I have shaded 2 quarters. 2 quarters, not 2 quarter. because a quarter means 1, 2 quarters. How about if I shed, this is my piece of bread, getting slices, and I shed those ones now. How many parts have I shaded? You count them. 1, 2, 3. And the parts which are shaded are the ones I write up. I have shaded 3 out of all the number of parts that I have. How many parts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have shaded 3 parts out of 4 parts. And this fraction is called 3 what? Quarters. Have you learned how to name the shaded fraction? It's as simple as that. You only count the parts which are shaded out of the number of parts that you have formed, or out of the number of parts that you can see. Just count the number of parts which are shaded out of the number of parts that are there, okay? Hope you've learned something. I wish you good luck. I'm going to leave you with some numbers, and you will do them very well, neatly. Avoid the rubber. Underline your answers. Make your book very beautiful, because you will love it when you make it beautiful. Thank you so much for listening. May God bless you.